G'day folks, it's Cortezarino. Today I'm bringing you something a little bit different. You see, a while ago one of my viewers was watching my Iron Trading Hall tutorial and they commented if I could do a tutorial or just show them how to build all the farms that you will need to trade with villagers. So that's what I've got for you today. This is an emerald factory. Now you will notice one glaring exception in this design. There is no sugarcane because this is specifically for trading with farmers because they are the best for getting emeralds. Specifically the melons and pumpkins. You can get tons and tons of emeralds, but you still need all the other things they trade with just to keep unlocking their trades. So in this design, you'll get your pumpkins and melons, but you'll also get potatoes, carrots, and wheat. And to give you a bit of an idea of the rates you will get with the design, I AFK'd for 1 hour, and this is what it produced. So you don't need tons of wheat or carrots or potatoes. They're mainly just for unlocking the trades. But these guys are the ones that you're going to get most of your emeralds from. And if that isn't enough for you, after 1 hour you can obviously AFK for longer. This design is pretty simple. You could just add an extra layer or two of pumpkins and melons to get more and more. But the reason I've made it this small, if you press F3 and G and bring up the chunk borders, this fits into a single chunk because it's meant to be built underground. And being that it fits into a single chunk, it makes it a lot easier to dig out the area you're going to need for this. And with the F3 and G bringing up the chunk borders, that is only available on Java. You will not get that with console editions. And this design, I want to point out, will work in Java. Like some bits of it will work in the console editions, but for each individual farm in this, it's a Java specific design. So if you're not playing on the PC, this probably isn't the one for you. Now I should point out it's the tiniest bit cheaty when I say it fits in one chunk, because we're using the walls of our underground room and the ceiling and the floor as part of the design. So you'll see this rail is resting on the floor just outside of the chunk border, and there are required walls to stop things spilling out on the sides. That will be the walls of the hole that we are going to dig, and also the ceiling where I've got some lights in there. That is just outside of the chunk border as well. But how would you use this design? Would you just have it as a room in your base? Well, you could, but I would recommend putting it right next to your villager trading hall. You might have this as a room at the end of your trading hall where you can walk in and get ingredients. Or perhaps if you've built my iron trading hall, that one is centered on a chunk. So you could build this one directly beneath it and just have a staircase leading down to get the extra goodies. And before you ask me, am I going to do a materials list for this to say all the materials you're going to need? No, I'm not. It's too big for me to be bothered counting all the things you're going to need. But you will need a lot of pistons and a lot of powered rail. And I'd also like to point out that there are a few design elements in here from Ilmango Designs, and you'll find the links to his tutorials in the description. So I've got a pumpkin and melon farm here based off his design. I've built it differently, but it is essentially based on everything I learned from watching his tutorial. And I've also got an minecart unloader and dropper combination hidden behind that bit of lava in there. That's one of his designs. And then I've got an item sorter, minecart unloader, dropper combination thing here, which is my design, but it's based off one of his designs as well. And there will be a world download in the description. Some of you might find it easier just to grab the world download and copy this, although there are some pretty complicated bits in here that is a bit hard to see what's going on, and you'll probably need to watch the tutorial for that. So I will be using a lot of night vision for this tutorial. You'll notice the icon in the top right hand corner just so we can see what's going on. To begin with, you want to dig out a 16 by 16 hole in the ground, so press F3 and G and just dig up to the blue lines, and that is your 16 by 16 hole. And your entrance will be a 4 by 4 hole in the wall that has a 3-block gap between it and the ceiling, and it's right in the center. So to begin, you want to come looking from your hole. You want to go to the far right hand corner, knock out a block in the ground and place a redstone block. Then we're going to count in 4 blocks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and on the 5th one we're going to put a line of redstone blocks like so all the way along, and the same over here. We're going to count in 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and on the 5th we're going to put another line of redstone blocks. So I've skipped ahead a little bit just so this tutorial doesn't take forever, and you might want to take a screenshot of this because this is what you want to build. So we're standing in our doorway entrance here. So starting at that redstone block in the corner, you put a bit of powered rail on that, and then you just run the tracks back and forth like so with 2 bits of powered rail on top of each redstone block, and the tracks do not go all the way to the wall on that far side. So once you've built that, we're going to make the minecart track come up a level. And before I forget, you'll need a bit of lighting here so you don't get any mobs. So what you want to do is come over to this corner where our rail has finished, and we're going to place a piece of regular rail in the corner and powered rail right there. Then grab some blocks. We're going to come up 3 blocks on the diagonal. The 4th will be a redstone block, and then you can place 2 blocks right beside it, and you can run that powered rail all the way along. Then grab yourself a half slab and place it right there with a piece of powered rail on top, and that will connect. Then grab some more blocks, you can place 4 along like that and 1 right there. Then run your powered rail up to there and then 2 regular rail. So now we're going to build the farm for our pumpkins and melons, and they are actually going to grow on dirt at this level, but it's going to be very hard to place our pistons if we put the dirt in first. So we're going to do our pistons first, and that is at this height of these tracks. So the first thing I want you to do is build a line of blocks all the way along to this end, except for that block right in the corner. We can go like that. And on this side, at the same level, on the opposite side, we're going to build another line of blocks. Now, in between these 2 lines of blocks, I want you to build this pattern. Now, this is essentially just a checkerboard of blocks and jack-o'-lanterns. The jack-o'-lanterns will provide the light for our pumpkins and melons to go. Now, I've added far too many jack-o'-lanterns here. You don't need that amount of light. But I've done it because these are signals to me that I have to put detector rails on top of each of those, and then when we're below placing pistons, the pistons will also go against the jack-o'-lanterns. So if you don't have this many jack-o'-lanterns, you can just place them every 5 or 6 blocks or so, spread it out a bit, and just put a different coloured block in there as your signal that that is where you're going to place your detector rails and pistons. Now we're going to place rails all the way along here, and to stop them connecting in weird ways, just do 1 track at a time. Now we're going to do, going back and forth, we're going to be using detector rails and powered rails. Now just remember which direction your minecart's coming from. You don't want a powered rail in front of the detector rail because the minecart will stop before it gets a chance to run over the detector rail and power it. So we're going to go always detector rail, then powered rail. And the same thing here, when we get to the corner, you're not going to put a piece of powered rail right there because the minecart will stop on it. So have 3 there for the corner, and then we can go detector rail and powered rail like so. And I think on this corner it's a little bit different. You will go, that will be powered rail there, around the corner like that, detector rail, straight into the powered rail. You get the idea. We're going to go all the way to the end. And when you're done, it will look like this. So we're using a hopper minecart in this design, and it's going to run along here, hitting the activator or detector rails, and they will fire the pistons, breaking all our pumpkins and melons. And when it's done, it will run off the edge here and land on that track below. And we've got this little block gap just so this track doesn't switch and connect right here. So the hopper minecart, once it's done, will run along here and underneath all the dirt that we're about to place, and it will collect all the pumpkins and the melons. But what we need to do now is put all our earth in, and this can be a little bit tricky, so I'd suggest putting a little bit of a wall just there, and you can put a ladder on the side, so now you're able to freely move around all over the place. And we're going to put in our soil. So first what I want you to do is we're going to do this directly above our rails, so one block above. Starting in this corner here, I want you to alternate between glass blocks and dirt just for this line right here. And we're doing this because we're going to put plants on the dirt, but we don't want pumpkins or melons growing where this glass is. So come all the way to the end and just leave out the last one. And we're going to do the same thing up on this end, on the opposite end. Going to start with the dirt and then just alternate dirt and glass. Now before we get too much further, we want to put our water sources in to hydrate our earth. And what you want to do for this is start in the corner. And I'm starting in the corner where we left out a block, but imagine that block was there. You want to come in 4 blocks from the corner, and on the 5th one you're going to place a stair. So we'll break that again because we don't want that last block there. So it'll look like this in each corner. Just come in 4 blocks on the diagonal. On the 5th block, place a stair. Then carefully surround your stair with dirt, and you can waterlog it with your water. Now be very careful from here not to break that dirt, otherwise you'll wash away all your tracks. But just go around and circle all of these with dirt and hydrate your earth. And just a tip, I'm flying around so this is easy to do, but to save you breaking your rails so you can get up to do everything, just carry a bit of carpet around with you so you can easily make little platforms so you can reach everything and be able to see what you're doing. And before I forget, we better place our pistons. Probably easier to do this before placing the water sources, but it doesn't really matter. There's plenty of room here to do it. Just have a regular piston facing down from every single jack-o'-lantern. Okay, so now we've got all our pistons in place. It's going to be a little bit hard to move around as we're trying to place all our dirt, plant our seeds, hoe the earth, all that stuff. So on the opposite end from our entrance, we're going to connect this dirt by placing 3 layers of it in total. We're going to connect it with the water so it'll all be hydrated. So I'm getting stuck here. So just have the dirt coming out 3 blocks from the end like so, and you can use your carpet trick to stand on. You want to hoe all the earth in between the glass first. And once you've done that, run around and plant pumpkin seeds on this line. Now we're going to be doing a checkerboard pattern again with the tilled earth. So the next line will go along like so, and this one must contain melons. So just be very careful to alternate your lines between pumpkins and melons. So there we go, grab your melon seeds and plant them, and then the next line will be in the checkerboard pattern again, and these ones will be all pumpkins, and we're going to keep doing this all the way to the end. So now your pumpkin and melon farm should be 100% complete, and what you can do to test it is just put a minecart right here, push it off the edge and make sure it does a full lap and ends up spitting out right here. So on top of this, we are going to build a wheat farm at this level. And so that means when we have a villager up here, we will put 8 stacks of seeds in his inventory, so he's not able to pick up the wheat, and he'll just harvest and drop the wheat on the ground. And every time the minecart runs through activating the pistons, it will also collect all the wheat. So we're going to build dirt all the way along, but we are starting it right here. So we're not actually covering up the where the minecart is taking the corners, because we will be building a wall right here. So starting right here at this level, we're going to build dirt all the way to the far end. So once you've got your dirt in place, come to each corner and count in diagonally, and what I want you to do is replace the 5th block with a stair. So do that in each corner, and then you can waterlog the stair, and that is enough to hydrate all your earth, so you can go ahead and till everything, but you won't be able to plant your seeds until we put some lighting in. So once you've tilled all of your earth, just go ahead and place a wall all the way along here. Probably leave yourself a little way in and out right here just for the time being. And I'm using glass just in case I ever want to come down here and peek in at my villager. But now we have to put a ceiling on this with some hidden lighting. So we need to make ourselves a way up first. So we're going to continue this railway line up, and we're going to put 6 blocks on a diagonal. So it's 4, 5, 6, and then the top one you can just place another block right beside it. So that last one you'll have a piece of regular rail, but all the way down we're going to place powered rail till it connects, and that should all light up. So to build the ceiling of our wheat field, we're going to leave a 2-block gap for our farmer and then start building the ceiling. So beginning with this bit of rail is just build a little wall of blocks all the way around the room, and where our entrance is, just put slabs there instead. So there's still a 2-block gap below, and when we walk in we come up onto the half slabs. Now in each corner where our doorway is, I want you to knock out the 5th block and replace that with a jack-o'-lantern. Once you've done that, you're going to skip 3 blocks and then place 2 more jack-o'-lanterns. So 3 block gaps in between, like so, and then from these jack-o'-lanterns on the sides, we're going to come out 3 blocks and put a jack-o'-lantern on the end. Just like this, and we're going to do the exact same thing on that side over there. Next, I want you to grab some chests and place them in these spots right here. So the back of the chest is next to our jack-o'-lanterns and it's extending toward the center of the room. This is going to be part of our storage system, and it's going to be built into the roof of this wheat field right here. And that's just so we can cram it into our one chunk because we're running out of room. So these chests, we're going to build them 3 chests high. So you can go ahead and do that all the way around. And you're going to also place hoppers leading into the backs of all our chests. Now come up to this end of the room, and I want you to place a block on the ends of each of these jack-o'-lanterns, and we're going to place more chests here. So the back of the chest is at the same level as the jack-o'-lantern, and this time we're going to place 4 in a row, and there will be hoppers leading into the backs of all of these 4. And just like over there, we're going to build these 3 chests high, all with hoppers leading into the back. And once you've done that, I want you to place half slabs right up the middle of the room, so the farmer still has enough room to walk below, and we are still able to access the bottom chests. So half slabs just for that central walkway, and then we can fill up the rest of the ceiling with solid blocks. And once you've finished building all of the ceiling, you can come back to this little gap we left in here. Plant all of your wheat seeds, and when you're done, just come out here and seal up the gap. Okay, so we've got the chests for our storage system in, but now we actually have to do the redstone, and this is probably the most complex part of the design because we're going to need a minecart, unloader, and a sorting system. So to begin with, come over to where these 4 chests are, and I want you to place a temporary block beside that top hopper with a dropper on top, and you can break that block. It doesn't matter what direction the dropper will be facing in, but we're going to place a line of 4 hoppers leading into one another, all leading into that dropper right there. Then on the end, we're going to put a 5th hopper sticking out with a double chest on top. This double chest is just to cut down on the amount of hoppers we need to use. So we're going to place 2 hoppers into the side of that chest, and then come around the back. We're going to place 1 hopper leading into that one, and then we're going to place 4 more leading into that one. And my night vision is running out. Let's take another dose. There we go. So now we're going to bring our rail up. So I want you to place a block right there with regular rail and another one, and then a powered rail right there. Then we're going to put 2 blocks on a diagonal So one there, temporary block, block there, delete that one. And we're going to run powered rail up to here. Now we're going to need some blocks here, otherwise those hoppers are going to steal all the items from our hopper minecarts. So I'm going to place 4 blocks along the top, 3 powered rail there, 1 regular rail there, and then our minecart unloader will go on that top hopper right there. So place a powered rail on it with a block directly behind, like so. Next, for the redstone, I might actually have to fish out some redstone for this. So you're going to need a comparator, piece of dust, and a redstone torch. So we're going to place a block right there, just lower than this hopper, with a comparator leading in that direction away from the hopper. So that comparator is going to lead into a block. That block will have a torch on it, a block on top of the torch, and a block directly above our comparator, and a piece of dust right there. So when our minecart comes in, an item will go into the hopper that will turn on the comparator, which will turn off the torch, and our minecart will stay there until it's completely unloaded, and then it will go for another trip. So next we have to build some item sorters, because this minecart will be arriving with melons and pumpkins, wheat and wheat seeds, which we actually want to destroy. So I want you to come right down to this corner here and place 3 blocks like so, with redstone dust on top of each of these. Then we're going to have 3 comparators just on a 1 tick delay leading in that direction, and they are going to lead into, actually we might use jack-o'-lanterns here just to cut down on lighting updates, and we're going to have redstone torches coming out the other side of these. We're just doing an Impulse SV design item sorter here. So 3 blocks on top like so. The back 2 are going to have redstone dust all the way along, and then comparators right here facing in that direction. So next we're going to program our item sorters. So to begin with, I want you to grab some droppers and come to where these redstone torches are, and we're just going to place 3 beside the torches facing toward the wall here. And then we're going to run 3 hoppers leading straight down into those, and we're going to put 3 hoppers above them, but these ones are going to lead into the backs of our comparators. So now to program them, this first one under the chest, I want you to grab some items that are never going to end up in our system. So I'm just going to use saplings and place one of them in the last 4 slots, and then grab yourself a stack of wheat and place it in the first slot, and that will continue to filter out until I think there's 41 left, and we can retrieve them in a moment. In the second one, same thing. I'm going to put saplings in the last 4 slots, and this one, put a stack of wheat seeds in the front. And the last one, same thing, saplings in those last 4, and pumpkins go into that one. So the next thing you want to do is come below and grab some observer blocks. And looking from this direction, we're going to place them on the bottom of those droppers. So when those droppers fire, these observers are going to put out a signal. So you can break the glass right there, and we're going to need solid blocks just below those observer blocks. Now, next to those solid blocks, we're going to place 3 droppers. It does not matter which direction they are facing into. Then looking from above, we're going to place 3 observer blocks like so, and then on top of those 3 droppers, and these must be facing upwards. Now the one in the middle you can just leave facing upwards, but on top of the ones on the sides, we're going to place 1 dropper facing in this direction and 1 dropper facing in this direction. So you'll notice now, if I throw a pumpkin into our pumpkin item sorter, it'll get spat out the side here, and that'll do the same for each of these. So the middle one is our wheat seeds. We don't want wheat seeds, so we are just going to destroy them. So grab yourself a lava bucket, place it right there, and you also might wish to place a piece of glass on the top so you don't accidentally walk in there, and that will destroy all our wheat seeds. So next we need to send our pumpkins from our pumpkin item sorter and our wheat off to their respective storage areas, and those will be the 2 at the front. Now we can't use hopper chains because there will be tilled earth directly above, and items will be sucked through the tilled earth into the hopper chain and end up in the wrong storage, so we need to use water streams. And we're going to do that with packed ice. So we're going to place the packed ice right against the face of this dropper. So the item, when it comes up, will be spat upwards, but you need to have a solid block on each side of this packed ice. So that solid block will already be there because that's the wall, but you'll also need a solid block on this side, otherwise they'll shoot out the sides. So we're just going to run the packed ice along the wall here until we get to our hopper chain, and we're going to place it like this, so when it comes in, the water will flow, push the items across the hoppers left to right, so we always know to look in our bottom left chest to find our items. And on this side, same thing, we're going to place the ice directly against the face of that hopper. Make sure you've got a solid block beside the ice, and then we're going to run this all the way down to the corner, down to this side, and we want this going left to right. So we're going to connect the ice to the hopper right there. Then what you can do is just grab some glass, and this could be solid blocks, but I like to see when there is water behind a block so I don't accidentally break it, and you'll need glass above the chests so you can still open them. And we're just going to create a wall all around our packed ice on each side so the water, once we place it, doesn't spill everywhere. So now our glass retaining walls are all in. Be careful you've got them all in because we don't want water spilling on everything we've built. And you'll also need glass blocks above our two droppers there, so we can start placing water buckets. So start right on the end, and when the water runs out, just place a stone pressure plate there with another bucket. Now items will scoot straight over the ice. Now when you come to a corner here, what you want to do is you place the stone pressure plate in front of the corner and then the bucket there. So the items, once they go across, will end up in the water stream, and that pushes them across our hoppers. So we're going to do the same thing on this side. Bucket of water right on the end. When it runs out, place a stone pressure plate, another bucket of water. And at this corner here, once again, we're going to need a pressure plate in front of the corner with a bucket of water behind. So you can just pick anywhere along here that's about the middle, place your pressure plate, and our water streams are complete. Okay, so our item sorter is sorting out pumpkins, wheat seeds, and wheat. But what about the melon slices? Well, they are not going to enter the item sorter. They're just going to continue down here and into this storage. But we're going to get a lot of melon slices, and we don't want this thing backing up and then stopping the entire machine. So we need an overflow system that if we ever AFK for 12 hours or more and this all manages to fill up, we don't clog everything up. And that's what this dropper here is for. So what I want you to do is just come down here, underneath your dropper, and between the chest and that jack-o'-lantern, I want you to place a dropper facing toward the back of the room here. Into the top of that, have a hopper facing straight down, and then a hopper leading into the side of that. Then we can come back around to this side, and I might grab another jack-o'-lantern. We're going to move this one just over to there, and we're going to knock out those blocks on the ground right there. So you can also knock out the third one. Where this third one is, I want you to place a dropper. Does not matter which direction it's facing in. Then looking from this direction, we're going to place 2 observer blocks like so, and then 2 looking at that dropper right there. Next, this is the Ilmango design. You will find the link to his tutorial in the description. So we're going to have a comparator on top of that observer block reading that hopper. That comparator is going to lead into a block, and we'll put a torch on the end. So any items that go through this hopper into this dropper will be spat toward the back here. So we just need to rig up another little bit of lava. So let's place a bit of glass there, maybe a bit of glass on top. And we might actually have to, because we don't want to accidentally spill lava, we might break that hopper for a moment. Find a lava bucket. Here we go. And place him right there. So any overflow will go straight into there and be destroyed. And I can replace my hopper right there. There we go. All done. And there is one last thing I want to do. I do not like to have minecarts running all the time, because if I leave the area and these chunks unload, there is a chance that this hopper minecart will get stuck on the tracks, and then I'll have to shoot it with a bow and arrow and send another hopper minecart through to collect it. So I want to be able to turn this off when I'm not AFKing or when I'm not in the area. So come along to this block above our redstone torch. And we're going to come out 3 more blocks toward our entrance and break the 2 blocks in the middle. Grab yourself a sticky piston and place it right there. Then on the diagonal, we're going to come down 1 block like so. And then we're going to place a redstone lamp on the diagonal again. And because this room is a too wide walkway, just for looks, you can place another redstone lamp beside it. Now we're going to place dust on the lamp and dust on that block and come underneath and place a lever so we can control this from inside of our storage room. And if you flick it once, the lamp will turn on, the piston will extend, and right now the farm is running. This minecart will go in an infinite loop, but when you turn off the lamp, this block is withdrawn from above that redstone torch. So now we can place our hopper minecart right there. Make sure it's a minecart with hopper, so it'll actually collect the stuff and bring it back, and that will not move until we flick this lever to turn it on. And just before I forget, we've got a few spawning spaces here. I'm not sure if that light from the lava is enough to light up the top of these hoppers and that block, so just place a torch right there so we don't get any uninvited guests. Okay, we've built our pumpkin and melon farms and the wheat farm, but we also need carrots and potatoes, and believe it or not, we're going to fit them in this small gap we have left over. And these chests here are going to be the storage for them. So first of all, we're going to rig up the storage. We want items coming in from left to right, so we always know to check the bottom left chest first. So on the far right hopper, we're going to place a hopper leading straight down into that, with 2 hoppers leading across the top like so. Then come around the back, 1 hopper into that one, and 2 into that one. So the items are going to trickle around like that. So we'll do the same over here. Hopper on the right, put 1 hopper leading straight down, 2 into the side of that, 1 there at the back, and then 2 into the side of that. Now we're going to place hopper minecarts in the corners above the back hoppers. So put down 2 bits of rail, hopper minecarts on top, and be sure to break the rail below. Now what you can do is place a piece of dirt in the middle, another one on top, and place dirt above those hopper minecarts. And we're going to push that dirt down. So just grab some regular pistons, have them facing straight down like so, and you can trigger them with a redstone block. Then break all of that, and that's what you are left with. So do that on both sides. And now we are going to build our 2 fields, 1 for carrots, 1 for potatoes. And these fields are going to be 7 blocks by 13 blocks. So you can see where I've done the border. We're just leaving a 2 block gap in the middle. It goes all the way up to our redstone lamps, and it goes from the wall all the way up to our item sorter here and the rail. So what you might want to do is place 1 block of dirt in the middle of these 2 minecarts, just to remember where it is. But then go ahead and just put dirt all the way through here. So next we need to hydrate our earth, and be very careful not to misplace your water and spill it over everything we've built. So just come along to one of these shorter walls, get right in the middle and count in 3 blocks and replace the 3rd one with a stair. And you can go ahead and waterlog it, and then you can grab a hoe and till all your earth. Come over to the corner at the back here and replace that block in the ceiling with a jack-o'-lantern 1 block across from the corner. And then over in this side as well, count in 1 block from the corner of our field and replace that block in the ceiling with a jack-o'-lantern. Now toward the center here, we're actually going to skip 3 blocks of the field, and on the 4th one, that's where we replace the block in the ceiling with the jack-o'-lantern. Same here, 1, 2, 3, stand on the 4th, replace the block. Now we can put our walls in, so we're just going to put a wall all the way along here to stop any light from the outside getting in, and then we'll go right the way across our redstone lamp till we reach our rails. Now we do not want to put solid blocks above our chest, So we're just going to put 2 stairs above the chest like that. And then where this rail is, we can't put a block there, but you can put a block above and our villager won't be able to escape through that hole. So once you've planted all your potatoes, you should find, if you've got your lights in the correct position, that the block on each side of this block in the center of our minecarts, you shouldn't be able to plant a crop right there. So that's good. That means everything's working correctly. So you can break that block and hoe that bit of dirt in the middle. Now we're going to use the 3 blocks in the center for the villager to plant crops, but we don't need these 2 right here. So you can just replace them with stairs. This way nothing's going to spawn on them and the villager isn't going to try and plant there. So next what I want you to do is, well, we'll just place temporary blocks right there. Place a piece of string on top and you can break those blocks and hoe them again. So now whenever the villager comes in here, plants a crop, when he tries to walk away, he's going to hit that bit of string, which will trigger a block update. The crop will pop out of the ground because the light level isn't high enough for it. And the hoppers and hopper minecarts underneath will collect it all and send it into our storage system. So now come around to the other side. We're going to plant carrots in this one and do your lights the same. So in the corners here, skip 1 block, place a lantern in the roof. Same here, skip 1, and then closer to the center of the room, skip 1, 2, 3 blocks and then place the lanterns on the 4th like so. And we're going to put up our walls, and this one in the center is a little bit different because we've got our redstone in the way. So all you have to do here to stop the villager walking in here and hanging out, just place a slab at the top there and he can't get in there. So then you can just continue the blocks down like so. And on this side we've also got some rails and we need our minecart to be able to go across there. So we're just going to go 1, 2, 3 blocks like so. That should be enough room for the minecart. And then continue our wall up to those 3 blocks. So you've got a 3 block gap there. A bit of light will come in, but our villager can't escape and it won't affect our light levels. So same again, plant all your crops and it should be in that one spot in the middle again. If your light levels are correct, you won't be able to plant crops on each side of that block in the middle. Okay, so next we're going to pretty up our storage room, and you can see I've already started here. Just place some slabs above the chests so you can still open them with pillars of whatever choice block you want to use on each side like so. Now above these chests at the front, could be a little bit hard to place, but just grab some stairs and face them like so. You might actually have to break this hopper so you can get in to do it here. There we go. I will put that hopper back. Now you've got a couple of options here. You could just leave a little doorway here as redstone access or seal it all the way up. But I kind of like the idea of bringing farmers in here so we can trade with them in our storage area. Like if you've got your villager trading hall right here, you don't need to bring farmers in. You can just leave this as redstone access. But if you do want to bring farmers in here, I will show you how to do that. And if you ever need access to your redstone, you just break your way through there. So what I would do to start with is just place a block right there with a regular piston behind it. You'll need to make these full blocks just as you're bringing your farmers in their minecarts, but just get them in here. Then you can place a trapdoor like so. Activate it with a lever. That lever isn't going to interfere with anything. And then just push him up against this trapdoor in his minecart, and then close it in with the piston. Put a block behind, and then when you come in, your farmer will be sitting pretty in his little spot there. And the storage room still has a lot of visible dirt on the ceiling, so to fix that up the front, just place a couple of blocks there with half slabs along the top, so that's level with that column. We might do another line of half slabs across here, and then just cover the dirt up on the sides with more half slabs. And even though nothing's going to spawn on these half slabs here, you can put some lighting in the ceiling. This is all up to you. I'm just showing you how you could do it. And then you've just got a hole next to there to cover up. A few more half slabs on the side. You could run half slabs all the way around. And there you go. Now you might be wondering, how on earth am I going to get my villagers into this mess? Well, it's pretty easy. You just dig little tunnels for them. So if you bring them in somewhere around here, sooner or later you will encounter your little rooms here. So we'll bring one in. I'm just going to use a spawn egg because I can. Now this guy's no good. He's got a black apron. He is not a farmer. There we go. That's a farmer. So even though it says shepherd, he is a farmer. So you can just push him in to the little room and seal it up behind you. And same thing for the other side. No good again. He's got a white apron. He won't harvest crops. So any brown robe will do. So this guy's got brown robe. He's fine. He's an actual farmer. So I wouldn't actually put him in here. I would take him downstairs as one of my guys to trade with. But in you go. So yes, even though you can use shepherds and fletchers and all that to harvest crops, the guys that we will be putting in here to trade with, they actually must be farmers. Must say farmer in their name. And for the guy in our wheat field, all you have to do is come down a few blocks here, but don't let him straight into the wheat field because this is a special guy and we have to do something a little bit different with him. See, if we let this guy into there, if he's even in there for a second, he will harvest some crops and pick up some wheat, and then he is no good for our farm because we want him to drop all the wheat. Now, villagers have 8 inventory slots, so we want to fill them up with wheat seeds, which he's going to be getting as he's harvesting. So he'll always have a full inventory of wheat seeds and never be able to pick up any wheat at all, and we get all of it. So I'm going to throw 8 stacks of wheat seeds at him, make sure he picks them all up, and then just to test, I'll throw a 9th one at him, and he shouldn't be able to pick that up at all. Can you pick it up? No, I got it all back. So now his inventory's full of wheat seeds. Remember, it should definitely be wheat seeds. Don't be throwing him any other kind of food because he'll just eat it and eventually have a spot open to pick up some wheat. So it has to be wheat seeds. Now he's in here. There he goes. He will farm away. And see, he gave me his wheat, which is pretty cool. So out of the doorway, mate. Thank you. Seal that up. And our farm is ready for testing. So I'll switch that on, let our hopper minecart do a few rounds. We should get pumpkins and melons straight away, but the villagers up above there, they have to wait for their crops to be fully grown. And there is one last thing that I forgot, which I noticed as soon as we didn't get as much wheat in there as I thought we were going to get. So to access it now, we're going to have to dig our way across the top of everything we've built because some of the redstone is a little bit hard to get to. But just dig your way out to the top of the item sorters. Here we go. So a little bit further, and you want to make your way over to our water streams right here. See, we've got the droppers firing the items into the ice, but what was happening then is they were flying up and some of them were getting stuck on top of the glass. So just at the very beginnings of the water stream, we just need 2 glass blocks above. There's a bit of a ceiling so the items don't go flying off in the wrong direction, and that will fix it. So if you ever need to come back here, that is the way to do it. So that is it, guys. That is how to build this 5-in-1 one-chunk farm. So this would be really good for people who don't have a whole lot of experience with building all these farms, but they may have built my iron trading hall and need something to trade. So rather than watch 5 different tutorials and build 5 different farms, it's all here, all in one. And for people who have a lot more experience building these farms but still want to do it, just play around with adding a few extra levels of pumpkins and melons, and you will have tons and tons of stuff to trade with. So I hope you enjoyed the tutorial, guys. Leave a like if this helps you out. Let me know if you built it and how it's going for you. Cheers, guys. I'm Cortezarino. I'll see you later.